p.m. Sunday. If not, it'll be 6 p.m. Wednesday. Excuse me. If not, it'll be 10 a.m. next Saturday. You dig? That's when you come looking for your boy, because you know that's when your boy gonna be live. Another day in paradise. Paradise vibes around here. I mean, if you ain't gonna put in the work to be in paradise, we don't want to hear you complain about what you ain't doing. You dig? Hey, you can get anything you want. But like they said, hell, you ain't gonna have nothing you don't work for. Uh, Shouts out to y'all for putting in that work, 'cause you know you coming through taking notes from your boy. Let's see what the camera looking like today. Today. Bring it back in a little bit right there at the edge. Boom, there we go. Straight to the videos, because you know we could be here all day. Rumble's already been in here for like the extra 30 minutes with music with me behind the scenes. So y'all know to get the studio quality of the video, go to the Rumble. Shouts out to the Rumble, because you know we be putting it down over there. Everything, once it gets recorded, instantly gets put on Rumble, which is why there's videos up over here you ain't seen nowhere yet. You dig? That Cess Crew video will be going up on Spider Pig at some point in time. I don't know when I want to do it. Because I got a part two I got to record after I get done with today's live. You dig? We got work to be doing. So, I don't want the lash on. Uh, what are we doing today? Oh, it's going to make me do YouTube shorts this way, I see. So they're going back and forth with me over there. So I ain't going to worry about that right now. Because if I got to do the shorts, then I'll just have to set myself up for doing shorts, which is actually cool because I'll get that intro. Part of it, at least. Shit, part of it. But anyways, let's see. Yeah, that Cess Crew video will probably be on the Monday Musical Madness playlist, something like that. It'll be in the Musical Madness playlist anyways, because it's about the crew that it says. For everybody that was on Rumble, that's who we was checking out this morning, mostly Cess Crew. It tried to, meander back into my Tech 9 playlist, because I always be listening to tech. So, can't be mad at YouTube for trying to remind me that Cess Crew's on the label. So we gonna always try to put some more tech in there too. But that's what it does for me. So shouts out to that. It's at 33 views, and I had just posted it last night. So you dig? Yeah, it's like an hour and 2 minute video. But you know how we get down. Then yesterday's Saban go to jail video, the Rumble Studio quality is over there too. And apparently I'm the only one who watched that version of the video so far. Because you at least gotta go like and watch your own video too whenever you have it up there. Don't just put it up there. I might not be in Premiere sometimes, but I'll definitely go back and watch the video. You definitely would always go back and watch your own content, because, if nothing else, you want to see who is at least in your chat or left a comment for you. So that way you can go back and support them, because it's 24/7 networking over here. But like I said, for Rumble, I'm ready to roll up, because, I already had my wake and bake, but it's time to get back right on the get right side. So let's go ahead and get these videos playing while I segue to the sesh. Oops, forgot to unmute this one. We'll start it over.
Pick a strain, whatever you want, you can get. Indica sativa, never rolling plain Jane. I know some people, if you want, drop 50, we ain't gon' cop any. Little mama got plenty, so many strain, puffin' the flame, nothing but dro. One for the brain, one for the body, one for the soul. Running with strange, keeping the party under control. Up, away, flying, how far are we gonna go? Smoke team in the building, got 'em, it's what the deal is. Recognize, coming with Burns, Felix with Filming County Boy, got the liquor. Castle was on the fader, Stevie came with the greenery, mixing multiple flavors, whatever you want, homie. Tell me when to say when. How about you and your friends? Come get with me and my friends and keep it real with me, girl. I don't want to pretend like this is a new thing. Really, that's what it's been like.
Can the odor of marijuana by itself establish probable cause for an officer to search your car on a traffic stop? We're going to talk about that today, and really the answer is it depends. It depends on what state you're in, and it depends on the facts of your situation. But I'm going to jump into this because I want to read to you a story that I found that actually kind of goes perfectly along with this, and maybe yourself or other people that you know have found themselves in this situation. So one example is this gentleman by the name of Orlando Dixon. He had actually just been driving. He went to pick up his daughter, and as he stopped at a red light, he noticed a cop car behind him. And even though he wasn't speeding, he wasn't doing anything illegal, he began to get the impression that the officer was really kind of right on his tail, looking for anything that he might be doing that was wrong. Now let me add these facts into there. He was also a young man. He was in his 20s. He happened to be African American. So how did this turn out? Well, he ended up getting pulled over. When he did get pulled over, immediately he had to provide, because of the state that he was in, his license, and he had to make sure and also provide his registration. Now, the officer grabbed that license and registration, went back to his vehicle, ran his background, wanting to make sure he didn't have any active warrants or anything like that. Then he came back, and you want to guess what the officer asked him? He said, "Hey, man, any chance I could search your vehicle?" Okay, this was his question. After he asked him that, Dixon said he told him he would not authorize him to search his vehicle. So then the officer began to look around. He got in a little closer into that near the window, and he said something like this. "You know, I think I smell the burnt odor of marijuana. I'm going to need you to get out of the car." This is exactly the subject we're going to talk about here today. Because of the officer getting a whiff of pot, supposedly the odor of marijuana, is that enough to ask this gentleman to get out of his car and search his car and be able to basically find whatever he can within that car? Now, that's what happened to this poor guy. And now for him, there was nothing that was found. There was nothing that was wrong, but he was held on the side of the road for over 45 minutes. They continued to search his car. He was displaced with his daughter on the side of the road and missed the event that he was supposed to be taking her to. And so this issue happens all over the country. We see it taking place all of the time. So the first thing I want to do is start to break this down and talk about how police officers rely upon this all the time. In fact, they use this as a tactic in order to get into your vehicle and establish probable cause. And so think about this for just a minute. For decades, this has been used as a tactic because why? If marijuana is illegal in the state that you're in, then arguably they could make the determination that if they smell the odor of marijuana, then that might establish enough evidence to then warrant a search, a warrantless search, right? They don't have to get a warrant. They can now at that moment search your vehicle. So let's identify some of the states that we know have fought against this and it's no longer applicable, and let's talk some distinctions between what state you might be in and how it affects you. So let's first start off. One of the examples that
We already know that, when the cop says, "Oh, I smell weed," unless you actually smell weed, sir, nah, man, that ain't finna fly. I will let you go ahead and get that off in the streets, but when I go to court, I'm straight snapping on the judge like, "No, sir, Bob." Yeah, his word against mine, but he wrote the ticket. But guess what? This is why I showed up in court. Where he at? Is he here? Because I'll tell him right to his face, he a damn lie. Uh, yeah, Judge, you right about that. Why you think I showed up so assertively and aggressively? Hell, hey, try to just say he smelled weed. Nah, he asked me if he could search the car. I said no, because I had places to be. Then he says he smells weed, and next thing you know, I'm late to where I was supposed to be. You can ask people that know me. I'm not late to nowhere. So, well, I'm only late if I need to be, because I ain't coming too early if it's a party or something. I'm definitely not coming early. I show up right when it's time for the party to get jumping, and I leave right before you try to boot everybody out.
see here is, for example, in Maryland. In Maryland, one of the laws that was passed, it basically says 10 grams or less of marijuana has been decriminalized. And so as a result of that, the appellate court has come back and said that the odor of marijuana by itself is insufficient to establish reasonable suspicion of criminal activity and not enough to establish probable cause for a search as well. Same thing in Colorado. The Colorado Supreme Court also threw out drug convictions in 2019, and since then, based upon that the police had no reasonable suspicion or justification whatsoever to hold, in one example, a man in his truck waiting for a drug dog to show up, and then they sniffed his vehicle. They threw out that conviction because they said, why? Well, marijuana is legal in that state, and because it is legal, it has been decriminalized. That does not provide a reasonable suspicion or probable cause for the officer to do anything as it relates to the so-called whiff of pot. Now, this isn't always the case in every state, For example, in Michigan, the Michigan Supreme Court has said that it is permitted. Now, even though that if here's the rule in Michigan, if it's anything less than 2.5 ounces of pot, then that has been decriminalized. But anything above 2.5 ounces is still against the law. So as a result of that, they've come back and said, well, because there is some illegality associated with possessing marijuana, then we're going to say if the officer smells it, then there may be a chance there's more than 2.5 ounces there. So it's allowed there. Another example is in Florida. Even though, in every one of these states, the laws change to some extent every year.
Now, see, they made it make sense for Michigan because, like he said, you can't have over a certain amount, and if I can clearly smell it, meaning your ass know you got some pounds in the car just chilling in the back seat in a duffel bag. Because since it's legal, you wasn't too worried about it. Your ass was just riding around like, well, shit, I shouldn't get pulled over. But then you did get pulled over. So now he's like, I do smell weed, because he does smell weed. Because then that's, in that one instance, that's where he right. He was like, it smells like a lot of weed should be in this car. But now, like I said earlier, if you just randomly riding around and they saying, oh, it smells like weed when it's clearly none in your car, then you know you finna contest the shit out of that.
Medical marijuana is allowable, just like it is in Texas, if you have what's called a Texas Compassionate Care Act card, if you're approved through a doctor. But they have said because it's only legal for medicinal purposes, if an officer smells the odor of burnt marijuana, that can be the basis for them to then have a search of your vehicle, and therefore it's legal. Okay, so notice one of the first questions you have to ask yourself.
So that's what I'm gonna have to make sure I got a copy of my medical card when I go through Texas. Like, nah, I got medical permission to have marijuana on me. So when I'm driving through there, that's all I'm gonna do is just drive straight through there. I'm in and out. I ain't even planning on stopping. I'm getting gas in Oklahoma, then I'm getting gas in New Mexico because I'm just driving straight through that piece. Straight through because I already told you I'm crossing Texas off my areas of places I want to go to. I mean, good for the gun laws, but bad for everything else apparently. Protect yourself at
Is the
all
state that
times.
I'm in, is medical or is marijuana illegal or is it legal? If it's illegal, then there's a very good chance that the courts are going to rule that the so-called whiff of pot is the basis for them to be able to do a search without a warrant. So that can be enough to establish reasonable suspicion, or in this case, probable cause, to be able to search. If you're in a state where it's completely legalized, like you're talking about Colorado, you're talking about the example of Maryland, then you're going to be more protected there. Okay, so let's talk about how to handle this situation when you're dealing with a police officer. Let's say he comes up to you, here you are in your car, you've been pulled over. Now the officer's going to go and speak to you like he did Mr. Dixon here and start asking you some questions. What should you do? Now, in fact, before I even break down the exact steps you should take, I want you to know I have seen literally thousands of police reports at our criminal defense law firm where this common tactic is used. So this is what a lot of police officers in Texas will do. They will be following you for a certain period of time, similar to what they did to Mr. Dixon, and they'll look for any ticky-tack reason to pull you over, for any traffic violation. For instance, let's say you stopped right over the crosswalk at a stop sign or at a stoplight. They'll use that and say, "Ooh, traffic violation. You didn't stop far enough back." Or maybe you signaled a lane change, but you didn't do it within 50 feet, or they believe that you didn't do it within the time frame provided under your traffic code, depending on what state you're in. What they'll do is they'll make estimates on that, and they'll use that as a basis to establish reasonable suspicion to pull you over. Well, the moment they pull you over, what are they going to do? And now they want to interact with you and start having conversations. And if there's something they either see in plain view, or there's something they just don't like about the way something smells, whatever that is, because remember, it's going to be the officer's word against your word at that point. Now they can use it as a basis to search your vehicle. So I want to remind you about this. It's extremely important here.
Which, as a community servant, why is the officer's word held higher than mine? Make that part make sense, America. I mean, oh, he's a police officer. He's supposed to be doing a job. Yeah, the job in itself is important, but that doesn't make who I am not any bit more important because I'm a citizen. Hell, the citizen. He's supposed to be here to protect and serve who? Citizens. Thank you. So shut the fuck up.
Here that you're careful about this. In states like Ohio and Texas, it's very common that officers will have a canine unit, a drug dog, literally nearby. I've seen it where an officer pulls someone over to give them a traffic ticket, which many times they don't even write the traffic ticket. They just use that as the basis to pull them over. And then there will literally be a drug dog 30 seconds away, and they're using anything they can as a basis to then be able to search that vehicle or run the drug dog around that vehicle, okay? So let's discuss this for a few minutes as we look at this. First of all, what are some of the steps you should take if you find yourself being pulled over and maybe that's the situation? You've done nothing wrong. Number one, when an officer comes up and approaches you, roll down your window slightly, hand them what's required in your state. Most of the time that's going to be certainly your driver's license. That's normally required. And in many states, you're going to be required to provide registration of your vehicle. Why? Because if you don't provide proof of registration, that's actually a traffic offense. That can be a basis for the officer to now search anyway. So if you're not at least following the basic traffic laws and you don't have proof of registration, that can be a basis for the officer to do more. So, but you don't have to engage in any conversation. The most important thing is be polite, be quiet, provide them the proof, let them run it, and just basically don't open your mouth any further. Number two, don't engage in any small talk. I know this is hard. Many times people will want to engage in small talk. You'll feel nervous. The officer will walk up and start speaking to you, and you'll feel like you have to just continue to talk. This is actually what the officers are trained to do. If they can get you to talk more and more and more, they're allowed to now be able to establish that they don't like either your body language or they feel like you were holding something back, or they can use that as a basis now to establish probable cause potentially to...
So technically, it's legal for how police feels to affect anything in a traffic stop, which is crazy because you might feel one way, officer, but that might not be what it is. I mean, fuck your feelings. What are the facts? You could be feeling that I'm withholding evidence because I am withholding evidence. I mean, it's not my job to do your job for you, which is why I'm sitting here being quiet. That's withholding evidence. What are you doing today, Mr. Harper? Yeah, quiet like that though. You see what I'm saying? Peace and quiet, crickets.
Search your vehicle. So one of the things you can do is don't engage in any small talk. And if the officer starts asking you a number of direct questions, trying to aggressively get you to engage in conversation or ask where you're coming from, where you're going, what are you doing, what's in your car, remember, you can exercise your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, but you must actually say it. There's case law out there that if you just remain silent without actually exercising that right, the officer can actually use your silence against you. I actually have a video that I covered this issue. This is really important to remember. So, what do you say? Officer, I exercise my right to remain silent and I refuse to answer any other questions. That's number two. Number three, ask the officer if you are free to leave. Understand how the way cops work. A lot of times what they're gonna do is they're gonna walk up to you and they're gonna start.
This is where that editor puts in that free to go clip that's out there. What's your name? Free to last name go. Oh, you're free to go. Thank you. Gone.
Start speaking to you. They'll grab your driver's license, your registration. They'll go run to see if you have any warrants, and then they'll walk back up to you and start this small talk. But what they're really going to be doing is trying to delay as long as they can. If they're going to claim they smell the whiff of pot coming from your car, they're also likely going to call for a drug dog to come out because they're going to want to do a more thorough search. Or even if they don't smell, let's say they don't smell pot at all, and they don't use that as an excuse, they're going to want to prolong this so they can have the drug dog show up. So one of the things that's really important for you to do is to ask, officer, am I free to leave? This will force the officer to answer one way or the other. If he answers no, then now you have made it clear you wish to leave and you're asking if you are free to leave. And now the clock has definitely been going and starting here because an officer is not allowed to prolong a traffic stop any longer than is necessary in order to write you that ticket. This is established Supreme Court law. So by doing this, you're letting the officer know you know the law. And you're helping your attorney. You're helping your attorney so that in the future, if this becomes a prolonged traffic stop that then leads to a search, that leads to an arrest, your actual attorney can file a motion to suppress to potentially get the entire thing thrown out in court. Okay, so that is a critical point. Officer, am I free to leave? If he says yes, politely roll up your window and drive away. If he says no, officer, At this time, I exercise my right to remain silent. I refuse to answer any questions, and then hold pat. Finally, if you know there is no odor of marijuana and the police are there and they're using it as a pretext to search your car, look, don't fight it. The time to fight is not at the roadside. The time to fight is in court. We may all know.
Didn't I already say that? I mean, for the replay game, because ain't nobody in chat right now. But didn't I already say that? Like, well, shit, if that's what y'all doing, y'all go ahead and do it. I mean, hell, I see y'all motherfuckers in court. Shit, I ain't even gonna have a lawyer. The judge gonna be like, who's your representation? I don't need no representation. Let's look at the facts. Pull up his police, pull up his camera, and then I'll show you what's going on. He clearly ain't been in the car because he was asking to be in the car. So, nah, stay the fuck out of the car. Hell.
That there is no odor of marijuana, and that may be being used as a basis against you. But if you're in a state where marijuana is legal, you're in good standing because now you can have your attorney come in contest it. If you're in a state where marijuana is legal, then either way, the officer may legally be able to do what they're doing, but fighting them on the issue is not going to help you. All right, so this is what you know. If you're in a state where marijuana is completely legal, a whiff of pot's not going to cut it. If you're in a state where it's illegal in any capacity, courts are still going to allow it in many instances as a basis to search your car. See you next time.
It's like the last time I got pulled over. That was some bullshit.
Yeah. So like Fox Farms though, like I noticed like so if you're going to plant a plant in some Fox Farms ocean forest, per se, you plant a plant in there and you veg it out for like 2 months and you get that plant monstrous and you're ready to flip it into flower. Now you have to add amendments to there because there's nothing left in it.
Back up just a little bit. When you say you planted it for a couple months and it took off monstrous, do you know what's in that mix that makes that plant grow?
Synthetic salts.
It's pretty much what it is, but it's ammonium nitrate. So they spray this ammonium nitrate on sawdust, and that ammonium nitrate is like, it's like acid on a fucking slug. So think of the organic and biology that's in there. It's killing. They put that on there. You can throw a pile of that. It's called nitralized sawdust is what the industry calls it as an amendment to mix it, and that's what they buy. Roots Organic, a bunch of them do that as an amendment, and that's their nitrogen pack. And then they tell you they put a bunch of guanos and they do other stuff. They don't put shit on it. That's what it is, and that's the reason. The difference between a good quality soil and them, and you just explained it, is it shot up and it grew some veg and it did really well. But the thing it's missing is that now, like if you grew in my soil or some good soil, it's not always my soil, but the difference between mine, you're asking, and Fox Farm, and all the case studies, Fox Farm with ammonium nitrate in the soil, that plant will shoot up really quick.
Shout out to the big homies over on Higher Desert Exotics. Y'all know to go check them out usually on Fridays and then Sundays, Mountain Standard Times, because you know they down there in their own time zone. Shouts out to them because you know that's what makes them unique. But I'm letting you know ahead of time so that way you're not unaware of what time to be over there. You dig? Because it is a specialty thing going on over there because, you know, Higher Desert be putting in their work. You see, they get great interviews with great people that's doing things in great places. Shouts out to them.
Grows quick, and it's for tomato plants. Just call it tomatoes. Let's do the tomato. But same thing with any other cultivar is it shoots up really quick and it puts off a few tomatoes. And the wind comes and that plant has no structure and it falls over. It's lanky, right? My soil versus the same tomato plant. You got a fucking heavy stock. You got this plant that just fucking sits up and does its thing, and it's putting off tomatoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the difference. And why does mine do that? Because I have a living soil concept behind it. I want you to grow with bacteria. I want you to grow with fungi. I want you to do everything that is healthy in that plant. The last thing you want to do is feed ammonium nitrates in a tomato to your kids at the dinner table. If you once you know kind of thing. You know? So.
in annual revenue, but federal legalization, it would blow the ceiling off. Currently, companies navigate a patchwork of state laws, which complicates everything from operations to banking access. With federal legalization, it would open up institutional investments, remove the risk of federal prosecution, and clear the way for major mergers and acquisitions. Essentially, it turns cannabis into a national industry, just like alcohol and tobacco. And I know that's hotly contested. Now let's look at the economic effects, and they would be huge. With federal legalization, we could be looking at $100 billion in total market valuation within the next 5 to 7 years. States with legal cannabis have already seen job booms with over 420,000 full-time cannabis jobs created so far. So imagine that expanding nationwide. Cultivation, distribution, retail compliance, and even marketing sectors would thrive. And then there's the tax revenue. State and local
came in here, looking at all my plants, making sure they're okay, and they're fucking not. They're fucking not. It's the whole setup y'all don't get to see. So, I'm gonna show y'all how to fix this motherfucker and see if we can save this bitch today, because that's the King Louis. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Alright, so we're gonna begin by pulling the plants out. Try to get the bucket off. Couldn't. Had to cut it off. Right here, I'm just trying to lean it over so I can get my hand under it, place it in that pot. I know the camera's kind of a little cut, so you can't see me actually messing around down there. But I'm just filling it with dirt, and I'm filling it with A and B plant food. None of this shit helped, by the way. It looked good. It just wasn't gonna stay no matter what. There goes the plant food right there. Just said fuck it and dump the whole thing in there. Then come back with part B right before my boy says what's up.
What? Thank you. I know. See what happened?
Who talking about me?
Some bullshit. This whole thing was fell over. Had to refill it with dirt. Thank you for coming to help me. I know the plant food stink. You think they'll grow? You don't think?
He's like, man, I thought I grew a monster, and it fizzled out. That sucks, though.
All right, back up.
Happened to me
Back
all
up.
the time.
Back up, move.
As soon as
No,
I
you gotta go that way.
week
You gotta
5, week 4 flower, you fall off out of nowhere. Like, what happened?
Now it's time for number 2. Number 2 gave me a little bit of trouble, only because the damn bag didn't want to come off of it. And so I had to sit here and cut that bag off. I was going to try to save it for next year, but it's alright. Then it became another issue, as you can see, where it wouldn't fit, so I had to sit there and pull off piece by piece. I found a little money figurine in there. Really what I found works best is just to rub the sides like what I'm doing in this video. I was trying not to damage the roots, and the best way that I found to not damage the roots is just to sit there and gently massage the dirt off of it. And I say gently until you see me at the end, just shove the whole thing right there, just shove it in there, and then just come back with the food. This plant did perfect. As I was going, had to take a smoke break right quick. But not to say the other plant didn't do perfect in the beginning. I'm just saying towards the back end, it didn't look so good, which you guys will have to wait and see, because it's getting there. Also, if you made it this far, might as well hit that like button. And these are the babies after I am fully done with them. Here, I just went ahead and showed the footage of me cleaning it up, just in case there was somebody out there that was wondering, like, hey, I wonder how long it took him to get all that dirt off the floor. It only took a few minutes. And just so you guys know, none of this stuff went to waste. We have a compost bin, and all the scraps and all the dirt, even the paper bag, if we take the little sticker off, goes straight into the compost. See, I thought that I was done here. And so I'm just telling you guys how it's 3 in the morning, and it took me a long time to get that shit done. So I was letting you know that if you liked the video or enjoyed it at any point in time, go ahead and leave a like, a comment, subscribe, you know, all that YouTube stuff. And then I took a big hit, but I'm just going to use this clip as a way of making it a cool little transformation to the next clip, because little did I know that this video was not done.
I woke up to this shit like this today. They're perfectly fine. I think this one is doing well too. It's pretty straight, at least for the stem. Some of the leaves, if I get in close, are a little like, I don't know, they look sad, just dangling. But the ones more up top are doing perfectly fine. So you can see that shit needs a haircut. And this shit needs a haircut too. But this shit took me an hour. And that shit took me an hour too. So I don't feel like spending 2 hours dedicated to this today. Maybe another video. Alright, so you can see, this is a week later, and I was sick. That's why my voice sounds like shit. But this motherfucker do not look good. It looks almost dehydrated. So I'm thinking, I was gonna compost it, but I don't know now. Because I done took it out in the light. And in the light, you get over here, you can see I got them turning colors now. So I don't know if I really want to do it anymore, if I just want to put this in the compost. I'm thinking maybe I should take this and just water the hell out of it, just so it's good.
What up, Coach Sherry? Good to see you. How you doing? I know to go check out Coach Sherry.
It's perfect.
She might be on a panel since it's the weekend, because, you know, she be moving around networking.
I think I'm going to water it, and I'm going to check back in tomorrow.
Yeah,
or the next day after that.
That sucks when that happens, because you get that far along, and then it's a crash and burn. You like, God damn it, Bobby.
All right. Well, it's been like 2 days, something like that. Whatever the fuck I told y'all. Let's see you behind door number 1. Oh, fucked up. Door number 1. Listen, I'm gonna have to throw that shit into the compost. But I know y'all niggas gonna be talking shit. Yes, I can just keep smoking what I already have. This oh so delicious honey backwood stuff with like 3 grams of that sticky icky. But listen, that shit King Louis and grew it myself. So I'm gonna take me a couple little nuggets off that motherfucker. And we gonna see if we can smoke that bitch. In a couple days or a couple weeks or some shit when it dry, I'm gonna see if I can smoke it. The rest of it is gonna go into the composter. Some of y'all niggas may not believe that. The next clip after this gonna be the compost, motherfucker. So now y'all can watch me just take this shit down, but I'm gonna do it fast because I'm gonna speed this video up so y'all niggas ain't gotta sit here and watch me, because I don't know how long that's gonna take. Catch y'all on the next clip.
You never know how long something's gonna take. He right about that. But Snip, 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 snip. Oh yeah, you know that definitely might take a minute. You finally found something worth keeping. Dry this out. Dry this out. Yeah, it be like that though. Especially when it all look like really nothing after you done dried it back out. Like, man, these look like they was some good buds, but then once it dry, it'd be completely less. Yeah, you be like, man, these looking like some about gram to 2 gram buds. Cool, cool, cool. Now when they dry, they look like quarter gram buds. So now you like, this shit airy as fud. Yeah. See, that was a lot of work just for that. Yeah, damn near next to nothing. Shout out to the next to nothing process, because sometimes you gotta go through it. Yeah, because trying to get something back out of a lost harvest is usually like, just as you see, he's barely getting anything when he does keep something. He's like, all that, and then look at this. Yeah, he said he wanted something, so yeah, I've done this plenty of times now. You just throw it away into the compost stack, like you said. You'll get something out of it, but actually working for it, yeah, he had time for that. You see what I'm saying? If you got time for it, go ahead and keep something. Yeah, put the time into it, because it'll be for you. It'll be the only thing for you is something you do get to smoke later on in the future, maybe. Now, is it going to be good? Yeah. Yeah. It can be, it might not be, though. So, hey, shake the dice and roll them, as they say. I mean, give her the genetic piece of it was.
And it may look like I'm trying to take a lot off of here. I'm not. It's so small. Like, it's very little. So, I'm trying to have enough to at least make a blunt. I think all of this has to be trash, though. I don't know, it's not too much left. Besides little pieces every now and then. Okay. And that is very sticky. Hey. Let's see how long it lasts. Shit's sticky. So you can see I'm not playing. I'm staying here. You see, I'm on the finger. You see, I'm not doing nothing. It's last. This was standing at probably like 6 foot 5 inches, something like that. I'm 6'3", and it was just barely taller than me. So it was decent for when it was doing good. It was decent. Kind of feel like saving one of these for something. I don't even know what. Like, I don't know. People save this shit for something. No, this feels like good wood for something. I might do that with the next one. The other one's even sturdier, so I'll probably do it with that. We have a whole bag. Whole tree in a bag. Boom. Now, we gotta take extra good care of the other one to make sure that shit do okay. Might as well show y'all that while I'm at it. Because this one, I mean, look at it. This one's doing great. And like I said, I'm like 6'3". Look at that. Like, it's pretty tall. And this one, you can see it. Like, these are great. Real thick buds on there. And this one got them real thick at the top. They're doing decent. That I'm going to have to put in the composter. But let's y'all back up here. I have all of this to go through. I have a lot of doubt, but because I'm gonna say fuck it, because I want to see, like, I want to try my own weed. Like, I've never smoked something I grew. I'm gonna pick through all of this shit, and we're gonna see how much we have at the end. By the looks of it, it's gonna be like a fucking 2.5. It might be enough for a backwood. We might not have to roll the blunt. I might roll the backwood. So, I mean, some of these little nuggets are decent. Little, you know, I mean, they're trying.
He said they trying. Yeah, that's a heck in the handbasket right there.
Decent color. I mean, it's not what you want.
Definitely worth the time though. I mean, like he said, he grew it himself, so it's a small win for you.
Y'all been here for the journey. I've been doing this shit for a while, so.
And definitely a part of the learning process.
It's been growing for a while. It's been growing for about a year.
Because you don't want to learn all the processes.
I need it to.
Yes, there's multiple processes. You don't just get in the game and be a master. Nah. There's yet another process to learn there, bucko.
So, we're going to do this again as soon as it's time. Y'all stay updated. If you like the video, let me know. I'm finna be putting out some Call of Duty videos if y'all fuck with that. Might make a whole new channel for it. I don't know.
But yeah, definitely make the other channel for it and keep it off of this one. Because we don't want to see no Call of Duty. Hell, we fucking play a real game out here in these streets.
I do like telling my story, so of course more stories to come too. But if you like this video, I know it was kind of all over the place. But if you liked it, this is the end. Leave me a like, put a comment on that, subscribe to the video. This shit take forever to edit, no shit. So, I'm gonna go throw Louis away. Well, put him in the compost in the morning. I might film that, but that and throw that dirt in there too, because might as well. Till then, I'll catch y'all niggas. God damn it. pastel orange? The fruit or the color? Nigga, I'm asking a genuine question.
Oh man, the fruit of that always gets me. That's why you see that.
Remember me when you're far away. I always have a place
Shout
for
out to
you
the
to
big
stay.
homie.
In the garden,
I
by
know this
the
one of my
door,
favorite beats
in the
from the big homie.
bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there till the morning light. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there till the morning light. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there till the morning light. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there till the morning light.
What's crack like, homie? And we rolling up the next one. We still got a video or two left. Yeah, I know people like, oh, is this the outro? No, this ain't the outro. It's just a little intermission while we keep it rolling. See, look at the big homie. He got me.
Our bill, which can finally make it easier to study and research the good herb while going after the real hard drugs, is finally heading to President Trump's desk for signature. And as more folks are open to the benefits of the plant, Facebook and Instagram seem to have stopped censoring cancer-related search results. And sports fans are finally open to cannabis brands sponsoring professional teams in leagues like NFL, NBA, and MLB.
Fentanyl just got a whole lot harder to get your hands on. Congress just sent President Trump a bill that classifies fentanyl analogs as Schedule 1 drugs. That's the highest risk category. Think of it as a major crackdown on smugglers. The Halt Fentanyl Act brings some serious penalties for trafficking these drugs. The goal, update federal law. but legal fentanyl for medical use stays put. It's still a Schedule II drug. Lawmakers have been working on this for years. Over 109,000 people died from overdoses in 2022. Fentanyl was a major cause. Now researchers can still study fentanyl analogs. They need to for medical purposes. This is another bipartisan win for President Trump. He's been pushing for tougher border security and more crackdowns on drug trafficking.
So it's good to see that finally lawmakers are focusing on the real hard drugs that are actually causing a lot of problems in the communities. Now this may signal a win for the community because according to this, it'll also make it a lot easier to study the good herb, and that is a win. Now while this bill is mainly focused on banning the analogs of fentanyl, it also contained provisions that one GOP lawmaker said will remove barriers from conducting research into the risks and benefits of the good herb. Now this bill is pretty much identical to one which has passed previously, bar a few minor changes which were made so that they don't criminalize everyone.
Great news in the fight against the scourge of fentanyl. The House just passed my Halt the Fentanyl Act, and that will go to the President's desk to be signed, I think not this week, but the next week. Last, in 2023, 70,000 of our fellow Americans died from a fentanyl overdose. This gives law enforcement one more tool to make that 70,000 zero.
So it's good to see that lawmakers are going after the real hard stuff, but actually acknowledging the fact that there are benefits when it comes to herb that a lot of people actually obtain relief from. Now just a quick reminder guys, if you're getting value from this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support us further, join the ICANN VIP Bean Club or just buy us a cup of coffee. Now I did mention previously that Facebook and Instagram seem to have stopped censoring search results for the good herb, especially when it comes to some of those search terms. That was pretty interesting because I did a search myself over on Instagram, and it actually appears that a lot of the search terms are no longer censored. Now this comes after criticism that the company's censorship was overbroad and limited access to education, public health information, and political advocacy. Now some of you guys would remember over the past few years there have been a lot of allegations that Facebook, Meta, and Instagram have been censoring the American public, but not just because they want to, but because the US government directed them to. If you guys recall, under the Biden administration, there was a lot of talk about censorship. Have a look.
News alert. Just moments ago, Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, announcing a commitment to free speech online and a shift away from censoring all of us.
And that's why it's been so difficult over the past 4 years when even the US government has pushed for censorship. By going after us and other American companies, it has emboldened other governments to go even further. But now we have the opportunity to restore free expression, and I am excited to take it.
The company admitting that they were pressured into it over the last 4 years under the Biden administration.
I'm sure that that's something you guys would either remember being discussed or would have experienced. I know in the community, a lot of people experience censorship, but also when a lot of people express political views on those platforms, sometimes they're also censored. Now I can already see some of you guys going crazy saying, Matt, that's a Fox source, that's far right, but you guys can Google this for yourselves. It's on all types of sources from ABC News, NBC News, CBC News, PBS, Reuters, NBC, CNBC, CNN, Time Magazine, Al Jazeera, Axios. It's everywhere. And some of you guys may actually recall back in 2020, there were large donations made by Zuckerberg to the administration which eventually won that election. Now censorship is dangerous. It's not only attack on free speech, but it's also a way that a lot of propaganda can be pushed when you censor free speech. Here's what another attorney had to say about why it's so dangerous.
On one hand, Facebook has an absolute right to kick these people off of this platform, and the vile speech in which they engage causes harm in the real world. On the other hand, there's a risk that Facebook embracing the power to decide who gets to speak and who doesn't get to speak in the largest online discourse ever constructed is a dangerous proposition. The idea that a single company will decide these questions will create a risk that others whose opinions we value more than, say, Alex Jones will also get silenced. There's also the risk, though, that the focus on these episodic, spectacular instances of censorship by Facebook distracts from what may be a more significant form of content moderation that Facebook engages in every day. And that is the decision they make every time you open your Facebook feed to show you some content and not other content. This algorithmic prioritization is a much more significant form of content moderation that Facebook engages in, but we know relatively little about it, and yet it may ultimately decide who gets seen and who doesn't get seen online. Alex Jones is not influential in our society because he's persuasive. He's influential because Facebook's algorithms have decided to propagate his views widely on the basis of their design to promote user engagement. And that's a decision that Facebook has made to, improve or amplify voices that promote engagement, results in voices like Alex Jones's being spread so widely.
So you guys can see a lot of problems when it comes to Facebook, censorship, Meta, Instagram, all these social media platforms that are supposed to be for free speech. But it turns out that some of them are not only not for free speech, but also the algorithm will show you certain things, but also hide other things. It's pretty similar to YouTube, where if your video is age restricted, it does not get shown to anyone, it does not get pushed in the algorithm, it pretty much gets stuffed into a little box and put in a corner and hidden away. That's how some of these people feel when their views differ from other people's views, and they're actually penalized for it and their account is disabled. Now there's tons of you guys out there who would have been instances where your Instagram has been taken down, your Facebook's taken down, you were in a Facebook group, all of a sudden it's gone, and a lot of that has to do with not only violating guidelines, but also with the big corporations. What do they want on their platforms and what do they not want on their platforms? Which political parties are they donating to, or which arms of government are they working with? So all of this is some really interesting stuff, but recently Mark Zuckerberg actually went on to the Joe Rogan podcast and talked about this very issue.
Started the week announcing all these changes to Meta's social media platforms, said that he was going to be working with the Trump administration, and now he's ending the week on Joe Rogan's podcast. Sensing a theme? A little bit, yes, more than a little bit. He's on Joe Rogan's podcast, and one of the topics he delved deeper into was the Biden administration and his complaints about the Biden administration.
Well, it goes to what he was talking about earlier in the week, which he calls censorship of Facebook. And he delivered it squarely on Joe's podcast.
It was during the Biden administration when they were trying to roll out the vaccine program. And I'm generally pretty pro rolling out vaccines. I think on balance the vaccines are more positive than negative, but I think that while they're trying to push that program, they also tried to censor anyone who was basically arguing against it. And they pushed us super hard to take down things that were true, right? I mean, they basically pushed us and said, wow, anything that says that vaccines might have side effects, you basically need to take down. And I was just like, well, we're not going to do that.
That's terrible. And we knew that was going on. I mean, there was something else. And again, I don't want to say this because it's not a political statement, but also they couldn't say anything about where the vaccine came from. That if you said the vaccine
where the virus came
from, rather, if you said it came from a Chinese lab, you were xenophobic, and it's something you couldn't say. So there was a lot of censorship. And the reality is this, and I think there is this overarching theme, that we should not be censoring speech so that one side of an argument gets all the attention and you muzzle the other side. Let people hear both sides. That is the core of democracy and free speech. That if you don't allow that, you don't have democracy.
It's the most un-American thing. It's what you'd see in a banana republic.
That right there, guys, is a fantastic point. A lot of people get tied up in all of the politics of all this, but what it really comes down to is censoring anyone's views who are different to yours. If anyone has views which are different to yours or on counter to what you're saying or what you think, they need to be censored. And we've seen things escalate so much further in 2025 to the point where if someone disagrees with you, you're called bad names and people get really personal and start to attack you. So it's great to see that finally Facebook is no longer censoring words and search results when it comes to the good herb. That's absolutely fantastic. And what's also fantastic is that a lot of sports fans are now welcoming Canna brand sponsorships for teams in professional leagues like NFL, NBA, and MLB, according to a new poll. And these are sports fans across multiple leagues, from NFL to pro tennis to NBA and even NASCAR, as more professional sports teams loosen policies around the use of good herb among players, and some have even allowed for Canna-related sponsorships. The poll from the Performance Research and Full Circle Research found either a majority or a plurality support letting cannabis brands partner with sports teams. And again, these are all different sports teams, and you guys can see right here, here's the the percentage of sports fans across those leagues who say it's completely or mostly acceptable for CBD companies to sponsor teams. In the MLS, 77%, UFC 68%, Pro Tennis 64%, NHL 62%, and you guys can see it goes on and on. So let me know what you guys think about that. Do you guys think that it's a good thing that Facebook is no longer censoring some of these search terms? And what about the research? Do you guys think that it's good that we'll have more studies and research into the good herb? Drop it in the comments and let me know. Now, you may have missed this, but recently a bunch of mothers came together in Texas and they're calling for THC to be banned. If you haven't checked it out, have a look at it because it's coming up right now.
Give it gas when I'm dipping competition, getting past, living fast, furious, staying on track, never worry when I'm spinning. Last better get in back, ride for the ride, bet it on us, you gon' get it back. Never split this pack. Whenever I witness cap, we ain't fucking with your fiction, facts, your conviction lacks. When I get up in my bag, I'ma spend, we ain't tripping off tax. Clip this tag, working on my wish list, cooking this cake. Let me flip this stack. You a flash in the pan, while you relax in the can. My team in the pack, the sedan, putting tracks in the sand, pushing my craft at the fan. Got the people all clapping their hands, putting cash in my brand, keeping my octane high, my grade and premium. Not 8-9 or 8-7, and when I run across state line, I'm 9-1. I gun it, clock great time, my time come. Disappearing in the dark horizon. Way I cut turns, I'm as sharp as diamonds. Got them on tilt like a car's alignment. This is raw refinement, not a hard assignment. I'ma give it gas, give it gas, bitch.